Hey guys, are you thinking about dyeing your starter locks? Well, today we're going to be discussing exactly what hair dye does to Afro hair, as well as 5 things that you might want to consider before you start dyeing your starter locks. Cue the intro. So, welcome. I'm the Own Locksmith, and on this channel I'm going to be giving regular updates about my own lock journey, have conversations about Afro hair, product reviews and all that good stuff. Later on I'm going to be taking out my current style and dyeing it, but before we get into that, let's talk about Afro hair. Afro hair is naturally dry, brittle and fragile, which means we have to be very careful when we're manipulating it. Now, all hair has a cuticle that serves as the outermost layer of the hair fibre. It protects against factors such as bending, breaking, and also moisture loss. Now, Afro hair has naturally thinner cuticles, which on the one hand enables us to exhibit so much beautiful variation when it comes to our hair. However, on the flip side, the thinner cuticle does mean that without proper care, Afro hair is prone to moisture loss and sometimes breakage. And this is especially true when it comes to hair dye and bleach, but today we're just going to focus on hair dye. But what actually happens to your hair when you actually put dye on it? Simply put, when you're applying hair dye, you are causing a chemical reaction that alters the protein structure of your hair and causes the cuticle to lift, allowing chemicals to penetrate the hair strand. Then, the hair dye alters the chemical makeup of the hair, resulting in a colour change. Growing up, I remember hearing horror stories, some would say maybe urban legends, of people dyeing their hair at home and it going horribly wrong. Something like,
"Honey, Ray Charles could see you."
Oh, what?
Thankfully, modern day kits for dyeing your hair at home are really safe and easy to use. The length of your hair will determine how many boxes of dye you'll actually need. However, before you even do that, there are still 5 things that you need to be aware of before you start. Number 1, choose your shade wisely. And by that, I mean know what suits you, both in terms of your skin tone and your fashion style. There's a shade out there for everybody, and hair experts recommend that you choose a colour that's maybe 2 or 3 shades lighter than your natural skin tone, especially if this is the first time you're going to dye your hair, rather than going with something a little more dramatic. If you are thinking of going blonde, be aware that it can sometimes not come out right and you might end up with the hair looking a little matte or even a little bit dirty looking, so just keep that in mind. Number 2, take your time. Most Afro hair is naturally black or very dark brown, so dyeing it lighter is not a quick, easy process. If you're in a salon, you might be there for quite a few hours, and also you might end up having to do multiple trips in order to get the colour right that you actually want. If you are going to go for a lighter colour, it's probably best to do it in stages to reduce stress on both your hair and your scalp. So again, take your time. Number 3, condition. After going through the process of dyeing, Afro hair is literally crying out for moisture, even more than it normally will be. If you're not injecting proteins and moisture back into the hair, it's going to end up looking quite dry and it will be quite brittle as well. Some experts recommend using the LOC or lock method, which is apply a leave-in conditioner, then some oil, then a moisturising cream. Number 4, salon maintenance. Coloured ends can get quite brittle, especially over time, and that could also end up leading to split ends. And if that happens, you might definitely want to book an appointment at a salon to get them trimmed off, because otherwise you could end up in a whole heap of problems with your hair, which you do not want to have. Of course, this all depends on the condition of your hair and the type of hair you have as well. So the best thing to do is just be aware of the condition of your hair, and if you notice any split ends or anything like that, get down to the salon so they can sort it out for you. And number 5, the colour may change. So the more you wash your hair, the more the colour actually comes out. So that might mean with really bright colours, over time it gets a little bit lighter, little different shades, which for some people, they don't mind. For others, they want to keep it that really vibrant colour it was originally. This is something that happened to me on my first lock journey. I was consistently dyeing my hair, and over a period of time I did notice that it was actually a different shade, a darker shade than it was when I first dyed it. But I actually didn't mind the colour change, so it never really bothered me. But obviously that is down to personal preference. Obviously when you have locks you might not be washing them very often. It depends on individual and personal preference. At the time of my first lock journey, I was washing my hair maybe once every 3 to 6 weeks, depending on environmental factors like weather and things like that, or playing sports and how much sweat was in there. So that could have possibly contributed to the colour, for me, lasting a little bit longer than it could do for others. So just bear that in mind. I've been growing my hair for quite a few months now. Each time I've had it palm roll twisted, I've had it styled as you can currently see it. Obviously before I can apply the hair dye, I need to take out these twists, which I'm going to do sped up for you, so it makes it easier for you to see that process. But as you can see, the hair is a little bit dry and in desperate need of a bit of a clean. So I'm going to do that before we can start applying the hair dye. So let's dye my hair with this Dark and Lovely Chestnut Blonde, which is infused with argan oil and vitamin E, both those good things, and also has 100% grey coverage, which will come in very handy because I do have a few grey hairs, unfortunately. So let's see how we get on. I remember when I was growing up, Dark and Lovely was actually the go-to brand that my mum and my sisters used, so obviously I'm kind of sticking with what I know. Obviously there's lots of different brands available and there's pros and cons to all of them, and so for me the hardest choice wasn't actually which brand to use, but choosing the colour, which obviously is something that everybody has to kind of figure out what's best for them. I went with the Chestnut Blonde because this is the colour that I used on my first locks journey. I found that it suited my skin tone and my style. I liked that it wasn't too blonde or orangey. It was kind of a chestnut copper brown. I think that's the closest way to describe it. I really love that colour and I've actually missed it, so that's why I'm kind of using it this time. Going forward, so the plan is not to continue to dye the roots or the new growth. This is kind of going to be it for me. Just going to dye it this one time and then leave it as is, so that eventually down the line the locks will be my natural colour but just with brown ends. That two-tone look is something that I've really liked and wanted for a while, so I'm kind of excited to start that off. My scalp has some naturally dry patches on it, and my hair itself is actually quite dry as well, so I want to limit any long-term damage by not repeating this process. I've got an appointment booked in a few weeks to go with instant locks using the crochet needle. It's the first time I've done something like this, so excited, nervous, a little bit column A, a little bit of column B, but it's the first time I've done this, so I will be having another video coming up soon showing the before and after of that. So if you're interested, stay tuned to the channel for when that video comes out.
A few moments later.
So there you have it, guys. This is the new look and the new colour. Must say that the Dark and Lovely didn't actually cover as much of the grey as I was thinking. Still a little bit patch here. Let me show you. Which is showing grey, which I don't actually mind. I'm not too really that fussed about the grey coming in. It's just one of those things of life. This is actually a typical look for me when I'm in the office at work during the week. So I thought I'd combine the new look hair and give you guys an example of what I'll look like on a day-to-day basis when I'm working. So, have you dyed your locks before? If so, what colour did you go? If you haven't, are you thinking about doing it? And if so, what colour are you thinking of going? Maybe going with the chestnut blonde, which is obviously kind of a dark ginger brown. If that's something that you're interested in, comment your comments below. You can also tag me on Instagram using the hashtag #UrbanLocksmith. We've got some great videos coming up reviewing some hair products and giving some maintenance tips for locks, so stay tuned for that. I'll be posting videos once a fortnight on a Sunday. Don't forget to do the like, share and subscribe thing, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.